Right, I come out to a place that I found the other week. Managed to find my way back in here, which is good. As you can see, lovely, lovely sunshine. I'm out here for a few days. I managed to find this area again. I didn't think I would, but I followed the same deer trail. It just looks a lot different when there's no snow on the ground. Right, so I will set up a camp in here, get all set up, and then I'll get back here. And as if by magic, there it was set up. So what I've done is I just put a little perimeter around here of some line. I've put a tarp up at the outside. Now we're not allowed fires at the moment, so instead of having this over the top of the tent like I would normally do, I've stuck it like this. Give me a bit of outdoor space, bit of rain protection should it rain in the night. More importantly, just in case we get any of our hailstorms. So all I've done is just put up a web of cord. I always carry loads and loads of cord with me, as you can see. Now I do have another tarp with me, which I could lay up over the top of this one should I need to, and I have a thermal tarp with me, which is actually really good for sleeping at night. I put that on the ground, just gives me a bit of extra heat retention, and that actually didn't work out too bad. It's a bit haphazard because unfortunately trees never grow exactly where you want them. So I've used two techniques here for attaching to the line. I've done the pegs through the hole, so you can see that way of doing it. I like to incorporate bungees. See, I put a bungee in here with a loop, and that just keeps the tension on it. You know, so if the wind blows, it moves around a bit, but it doesn't get all floppy and horrible. Yeah. So, and on the back edge, I've just done zigzag backwards and forwards like that. So it gives me some outdoor space. Now, if I was having a campfire, obviously I wouldn't be able to have this above the campfire. But since I'm not having a campfire, because we still have a fire advisory on, so we can't have. I have all my propane stuff with me. We're allowed that, but we're not allowed to have the a wood fire base of any description. I usually bring my little Yuko lantern with me as well, the little candle ones. I rather like those. They're good. They give a nice light, and they also give off a little bit of heat. So I usually bring those, but again, it's an open flame, so I figured not going to bring it. Mind you, this forest I'm stood in is actually wet. The area that I've put it on is a little mossy, as you can see. It makes it soft, but there's no running water under here. It is a little soft, but it doesn't matter because I've got plenty of insulation between me and the ground. That's not a worry. I've got all kinds of stuff with me for that. And I'm now going to go and fill up my water bucket. So although we can't have a campfire, I like to have a water bucket. There is a water source not too far away from here. I like to have a bucket of water with me just in case anything bad happens, and also I can then use that water for filling up my heating system for tonight, because I have a system that I use for keeping warm overnight. Right, I will go and do that, and then I'll be back in a mo. Right, being quite resourceful, I found a tree, got out my pocket knife, and I whittled a plank. Only took me about 12 hours to whittle a plank. No, I didn't actually. I don't know. These belong to a friend of mine who doesn't live too far away from here, so he doesn't mind if I borrow them as long as I put them back. So, I'll tell you what, makes a very nice bench. Yeah, I have filled up my water bucket, even though I'm not having a fire. I will be doing some cooking later. This will make a nice little platform to put my stove and that on. I have some rocks over here. I've collected some rocks, and I can use that as a base to put around my stove there as well. So yeah, rocks are in short supply in here. Took me a long time to find that lot. So those are the logs that I used the other week in one of my other videos. There are 3 green logs that I found those again, so that's good. Unfortunately, I can't have a campfire. That would be rather nice if I could, but that's why I put up this cover over here. I have all my stuff set up in the tent there. Just drop me bug spray. Always remember, this time of the year, make sure you bring your bug spray. I actually like this stuff. I'm not plugging anybody or whatever, but this stuff actually works. It's brilliant. Love it. Yeah. And I did find some bear crap on the way out here, probably about 2 kilometers back, which was several days old, so there is a bear up in here somewhere, and it looks to be, I would say, a fairly small black bear. I don't think it's a big bear. Yeah, if it was a big bear, it didn't eat much. So, yeah, so always make sure you have a bear spray handy. Like I say, I've got my water bucket down there. That water, I have 2 pots with me today, and one pot will be used for cooking and food prep only, and for like making tea and stuff, and the other one I will use for boiling water for my hot water bottle, which I have with me. Go away, mosquito. Yeah, I don't know if you can see those on the camera. Fucking mosquitoes, just terrible. Yeah, hate them. Yeah, but they don't like bends, so that's good. Yeah, I find that stuff works really, really well. Only thing you have to be careful of is these. Now, normally I would have these, I've set these above head height so I can't walk into them, but nothing worse at night than wandering around and walking into one of your own lines. That would not be good. So it's not a bad spot, I must admit. If I could have a campfire in here, it'd be good. Clear out a lot of this dead stuff. I do have other tarps with me should I need to put them over the top, but they didn't say if we're going to get any thunderstorms today. We have to be careful with our thunderstorms around here, because we can get pop-up thunderstorms that just appear out of nowhere, and they can drop golf ball size hail on you really, really fast. So that's something you really don't want. I'm not sure how strong that tent would be being hit by golf ball size hailstones. So I do have additional tarps with me that I could very quickly sling up over the top of there, give me a bit of extra bounce. But as you can see, it's a nice forest, eh? Very much up in here, I tell you. It's a few deer tracks. A bit soft in places. But that's part of the course for old growth. I say old growth. There's some of these trees in here are probably 100 plus years old, 200 years old. A lot of them are fairly new. But that fits down in there quite nicely. It's a fairly out the way place. Just me and a few deer. That's it. Fairly steep drop off down that side, but I shall avoid that. Yeah. Now, if I was doing a winter camp, I wouldn't need to bother about the tent. However, this time of the year with the bugs, let me tell you, that mesh on that is worth every penny. That was just one of those cheap tents. I got that Cabela's or Bass Pro or whatever they call it, same shop, and I think it was about 60 bucks when I bought that, and it was one of the best 60 bucks I ever spent. Cheap, cheerful, goes together really, really easy. It's very easy to put together. It takes me about 10 minutes to put it up, if that. And like I say, best thing is it's got bug screen on it. Yeah, I've unwrapped my sleeping bag, just let that puff up, because it's the air that gives you the insulation. It's not the actual sleeping bag itself. People think it is. It's not. It's the air that gets trapped in the material that's the important thing. Got a fly bugging around me. Go away, fly. Yeah. So that's good. A bit later on, I will make some food, but I'm just going to sit here and enjoy the quiet. Right. Well, this is home sweet home for the next little while. The ground's fairly soft actually. It's quite nice. Yeah. It's a bit cushiony. No rocks under here. I did quite well. I did check out the site first, make sure there's no rocks. As you can see, I've started unpacking some of this stuff. My cook stuff is in here. Poncho, extra trousers. I have propane with me now because we're not allowed the fires. And this is the one thing that makes everybody fills up their water bottles. You know, I've got water bottles here, I've got another water bottle over here. He fills up their water bottles and uses those for hot water bottles at night. They do work. They don't hold the heat anywhere near as well as one of these things. These are the old-fashioned rubber water bottles. They're like 10 bucks if that. They weigh next to nothing, and I can tell you now, it's just the rubber crossline. You fill up one of those, that will hold the heat for most of the night, if not all the night. Sometimes you might have to just give it a warm up. If it's a really, really cold night, it's not a bad idea to give it a warm up, kind of midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning kind of thing. But you're going to be awake anyway because it's probably cold. I've bought various tools and stuff with me today. I did lighten my load today. I still have my saws, extra bear spray out here. I've got another bear spray there, got that on here. That there are a lot of bears around at the moment, so not a bad idea to make sure that you have all your gear with you. Now, at this end, I have sleeping bag, fleece blanket. Don't ever underestimate the power of a single fleece blanket. I tell you, that thing is absolutely amazingly warm. Literally, it's just one of those cheap fleece blankets. It folds up to nothing, it weighs nothing. Yes, I know a wool blanket is the ideal, and you know, wool blankets will keep you dry when it's, even if it's wet and what have you, but these little fleece ones, I can tell you now, that weighs nothing compared to a wool blanket. But these things, they're not so good. If you get those wet, then they're pretty much useless. But I can tell you now, for keeping you warm, absolutely amazing. That sleeping bag has done me very, very well. I do have a bigger sleeping bag at home. I didn't bring that with me today. I don't think I'm going to need it. It's only going to be, I think this is 7 or 8 overnight, something like that. So I have plenty of water, and my teacup. I have tea, my bug spray, saw, of course. I didn't bring my big saw. I have everything I need in this pack. I've got first aid kits in here. I've got all kinds of tools in there, food and what have you. It's all double ziplocked, and it's all in packets. In here I keep like all my electrical stuff, like spare batteries and all that kind of good crap. And in the front pouch of this, underneath where the straps are, under there is another pouch, and in there I keep all my extra tarps and stuff like that. I do have extras with me. Yeah, my ever trusty whistle. Yeah, minus 30, minus 40, those whistles still work. See some of those cheap ones that you get out there, they're garbage. Yeah, they don't work worth a crap when they get cold. But that is my view for the next little bit. Quite pleased with my bench. I should have brought some screws with me, and I could have just screwed it all together, and it would have all stayed quite nice then. Right, I shall stop waffling. I'm going to go and cut up some firewood and stack it. I can't use it this time, but I'm going to develop this as a site. So I'm going to cut some firewood, stack it up. I started a little pile over there, and it's already cut and drying, and then makes it a much easier process. Having the roof out there just gives me a little bit of outdoor area where it's out of the rain, should it rain, and more importantly, out of the sun, because it's supposed to be really, really sunny, and it can get bloody warm. So I will leave that there, and that will be good. Right, I'll do some more in a bit. They say this is a 3-person tent, but okay, so not quite sure how you get 3 people in here, in any sense. I mean, like bloody sardines, I should think. Right, that'll do for now. Now, one of my main reasons for coming out here today was site preparation and see what's around. Wandering through the woods. That's a nice firewood right there. Oh yeah, pretty good sound of it. It's down, quite a bit of it is dry. I have started stacking up some wood over here. It's best way to do this is to stack it up against trees like that. See where I've angled that up there? That's nice dry wood. Bottom end's touching the ground, but it doesn't really matter. Get it up out the snow. That actually works quite nice. Really is a shame that we got this fire ban on, because I could have a really nice campfire now. I did actually find a reasonable amount of rocks. Took some hunting, but I found some. I've started cutting up a pile of wood here, and what I'll do is I'll cut up a bit more later, and it just allows it to dry out. The ones in the bottom there are those green ones. So there's a pile of rocks there that I did find. It actually works quite well as a shelter. It actually works very well. Now, I know a lot of people like to build the really bushcrafty shelters, and you know, they're all made out of cutting down 25 trees and filling them up with pine boughs and all the rest of it. It looks great for the video, and it's great to know how to do that stuff, and I do know how to do that stuff. However, I value the forest and everything that's in it, so I'd rather not cut the trees down. The trees need their branches. I don't need to cut a bunch down just to make a video. I have a $60 tent, a piece of wood and a couple of logs. That's all I need. I want a tarp. Look at the precision of the install of this tarp. Basically, you run a piece of cord along the edge, put some stick toggles through it just to help support the edge. On the corners I put some bungee straps. I've had these bungees for a long time. They actually work very, very well. Makes an excellent sunshade. I might have to move my plan was that my chair will be in the right spot for once the sun is up at full. As you can see, the sun's over there at the moment, but once the sun gets to there, I should be in the shade. I might have to move my chair over a little touch, but that doesn't really matter. I'm not too worried about that. As you can see, if I was having a campfire here now, all these little dead branches that you see on the bottom of the trees here, that's the stuff I like to clear off. And as you can see, I cleared a whole bunch off of this tree and one over there, just to make it easier for putting up tent and stuff. And it opens up an area. It clears out a lot of that dead garbage, which is a fire hazard. It does remove some of the fire load in the forest by removing some of the dead crap that's on the ground, and it's good for the forest. The ash and everything is good. Controlled burning of the dead stuff on the bottom, that's the crucial thing. Unfortunately, most of our forests, they don't burn naturally anymore because we're very good at putting the fires out. However, one of the problems with that is the fuel load builds up, and builds up, and eventually, let's get that bear spray out of my pocket. There we go. Always make sure you have this stuff with you. It's absolutely vital. Yeah, never leave home without it. If you're coming out in the woods, yeah, or anywhere out in the back country, whatever. There's bears all over the show. We actually do get bears in Calgary, so yeah, they do wander in there every now and again. They get escorted back out to the mountains quite quickly, but they do wander in. Just me and the crows and a couple of squirrels at the moment. I heard a hawky thing earlier, and I don't know where that went. I think it was just passing by. I haven't heard the woodpeckers yet. Normally the woodpeckers are around, but as you can see, wood pile has started. I'll do some more of that in a minute. Got to find some more rocks because I don't have enough rocks. And a bit later on down here, I'll build a little rock ring to support my stove, and I'll make up some food. I bought packet food with me today. I didn't bring tin food with me today. I bought packet food. It's lighter, doesn't give off as much smells, and I can pack it up, and it's all sealed, no problem. Easy to carry out too. It's a fair amount of weight still. Yeah. Right. I will stop waffling. Going to enjoy this sunshine. Enjoy this forest. Look at this. This is lovely, isn't it? This is my kind of forest. This is where I like to come camping. You can keep all those nice campsites and all that kind of stuff. This is the stuff I like. You know, look at it. This, to me, is a campsite. Oh, there's another tree now. Just spotted another bit of firewood laying down in there. Look. So you don't have to go far. There's loads of these little dead ones between the trees, the bigger ones. Some of those I can have out of there. And will, yeah, like this one here, I'll have that out of there. That opens up the space through the forest, creates very nice firewood, and like I say, removes some of the fuel load. So hopefully later this year our fire ban will be off. Oh, and I can come out here and actually have a campfire. Yeah, cobwebs. But that's not a bad spot, eh? Yeah, quite like that. I will take that. Sun's coming round. I've got a bit more shade here than one of the other places I tend to go. One of the other places I tend to go, we had a couple of trees fall down in there, and it removed all my shade. So this is why I've been hunting around for a new spot, and I think this is going to be my new spot. Right, I'm going to clear out some of this small deadfall crap that's in here, and cut up some more firewood. I'll do some more in a bit. Right. Going to get some cooking going on here in a little bit. Just wait until I give it another hour or two. But I thought I'd get this set up in the meantime. But, as I showed last time, I bought one of these little Coleman Peak One stoves. They have the little fold out legs, go around, pretty sturdy. They're made out of good material, and they got that nice stamp section in the middle there, which makes a piece of steel much stronger. So in order to run them on propane, you need a little adapter. That's one of these little things here. It's got the small fitting that goes on those little cans, and then there's the big one that goes on the propane. So that you just screw on the bottom here very carefully, because it's a fine thread. If I get that going, there we go. Don't need to crank it, just need to put it on there. Make sure that's, I'm not going to put it on the bottom yet, in case I have any leaks anyway. So as you can see with the adapter, that's how it goes together. Very, very simple. Not sure why I left that little piece of chain on there. That had all the safety instructions and stuff on it, but not sure why I left that on there, but I should probably take that off. The very simple stove, like I say, just folds up. That's it. It weighs next to nothing. I did look it up. I think it weighs, I think they said like 6 ounces, something like that. Whatever that is in grams, I don't know. About 6 ounces. Anyway, not much. You wouldn't notice it, but it's got a nice wide burner on it. I looked at some of those other ones, like the pocket rockets and stuff. Very, very popular. There's the original pocket rocket, and then there's the deluxe one with a sparker on it. The only thing I found with the igniter one is in the cold weather, a lot of the reviews said they had trouble actually starting it in the cold weather. Well, that's no good, because it's got to be reliable. And the other thing with the pocket rocket is the burner head is much smaller. It's much louder when it runs. This thing is so quiet you can hardly hear it, but it is much louder. But it's a smaller area, so this has got quite a nice sized burner on it, and it goes on there, and I can just screw it on top of my bottle here. I'll just screw it on top of here. I've put some rocks around the bottom just to hold it, stop it moving around. There you go. Keeps it upright. You can buy proper stands for these, but not sure why you would when you can just put a few rocks around the bottom, unless you were somewhere that, you know, didn't have any rocks or whatever. But it actually works very well. So I will be making some food a bit later. I've had to take the top off. It's actually got quite warm. I put a stick under here just to hold it up. I've got a stick with some notches in the top so that it can't punch a hole in the top, and I've got it sitting underneath the strings, the cord here, just so it's sitting on top of there so it can't make a hole in it. It just gives it a bit of extra height. The sun is coming around. Had a helicopter buzzing around here just now, doing some flight training over there, so yeah, quite often they do around here. As you can see, the sun is coming around. The sun's got right up over there now, but oh, there we go. I do like this bench. You know, it's very important to have a decent bench. I like to build benches where I go out camping and stuff, because it's one of those things that once you've got a decent bench, you've got something to work on. Like here, I can use this for food prep. I can use it as a table, a chair, whatever. You know, it actually works very, very well. My wood pile, I've been slowly adding to my wood pile. I don't need any more in the pile. I've stacked a whole bunch up against trees down there. If you look, there's a whole bunch leaning up against trees. I like to lean them like that. It keeps them up out the snow. I know where they are. I know it's decent firewood, so if I come out here in the middle of winter, I know I do have some decent firewood. There's plenty of firewood in here anyway, but I know I have some already cut, and all I've got to do is lop some ends off. 10 minutes later I've got a decent fire going, so not much shade on the back side of my tent there, I'm afraid, at the moment. I will take that for as is. You don't have to go too far through here before you can't see. I went over, there was another site. I did one of my videos the other week up through here. Let's see if I can find it. Let me see if I can. Yeah, it was over through here somewhere. Where was it? Here somewhere. It's a video I did with the what's name logs, the green logs. Oh, here it is. Right. I just covered it all over. So this is the one that I did the other week when I did my firewood of green logs, just to show you how that was done. And that's all that's left. Literally, I've just covered it over. It's absolutely perfect. There's a little bit of cloud building in the distance over there. But, nothing I'm too worried about. As you can see, it's hidden away in there pretty good, eh? Don't have to go too far, and you can't actually see where I am. Yeah. Which is always good. Like I say, I don't like to be in these big bloody great campsites. If you're surrounded by loads of people, there's always somebody that likes to make too much noise, or you know, still partying half the night. You know, great if that's what you want. However, I don't. I prefer the peace and quiet. I think I heard a deer up through here a little while ago. Get my head over that way and see if I can there's a lot of deer trails through here. Hang on, I'm going over that way. I will take my bear spray with me because I hear noises in the forest. It could just as well be a bear. Yeah. The only time you tend to have trouble with bears is when you start them, which is why I'm talking now. Yeah. If you start them, they get all bent out of shape. And the last thing you want to do is come face to face with a bent out of shape bear. This is the other site that I thought might be good. And down the bottom of that hill, down through there, see if I can see it. Down through the bottom there, look. There's a flattish area down in there, but there wasn't anywhere big and open enough to really put up a decent sized tent. This is a fairly open spot, look. This would make another good spot. Always have a look around whenever I'm looking for a campsite. One of the first things I do is look up, because I want to see if there's any big dead leaning trees, because I don't really want them falling on my head in the middle of the night. As you can see, these are pretty good. I'm set up over through that way. I can just about see where I am through the trees. There we go. Let's head back over that way. Another nice leaning tree there. Nature's already leaning, that one. It was already drying out for me. I'm kind of hoping in the summer the ban will be off. We don't have a complete ban at the moment. We have an advisory, which means we can't really have any wood fires. If you look over at Nova Scotia at the moment, they've got some terrible fires over there. We've still got a bunch. So these are my pots that I've bought with me for today. Big pot, little pots for cooking, big pots for boiling up water for my hot water bottle later. Yeah, that can live in there. Makes for a quiet day, doesn't it? Isn't it nice? Yeah. If it wasn't for the bugs, it'd be absolutely bloody brilliant. Bugs are a pain in the arse. It's one thing I like about coming out in the winter. There are no bugs. None. All the bugs are gone. Now, I don't know if you've noticed in the video, I always have my socks and that tucked in like this. There's a reason I do that. It's because there's a lot of deer in here, and there's potential for a lot of ticks. And the last thing you want is to get bitten by a tick and end up with Lyme disease, because you really don't want that. So always tuck your trousers on the bottom like that. Very easy, very simple. Always check yourself. Once I'm out of the forest here, once I get back to where I'm parked up and what have you, I will I always check the bottom of my trousers, check my around my socks and that, just to make sure that there's nothing hanging around my feet. So always a good plan. The sun is coming round, so that's nice. Very shortly, once the sun is on that bench, I've decided that once the sun is on that bench, the shadows there, then I will make something to eat. All the bugs seem to like my shade as well. Right, I will stop waffling. I will do some food in the mo. Not actually that hungry yet, which is why I've decided to wait until the sun has covered the bench. Once the sun's all over the bench, I will make something up. Right, that'll do for the mo. Right, time to get a brew on. I brought my cup with a lid with me today. I will. Just going to make a cup of tea to start with. Because I fancy a cup of tea. Always have to have a cup of tea. I didn't bring my flask with me today. Just let that boil up. Shouldn't take long. The other day when I did my soup, actually boiled up really, really fast. So, excuse me. I do like this cup. It's brilliant. It's insulated and easy to make tea in. Done. Put the lid on. Can't get no bugs in there. I can drink it out the thing there. Done. No bugs. That's the only thing with a forest this time of the year. Lots of bugs. This stuff works good. I do like the pump bottles too. I don't like the spray cans. This is just a simple pump. It actually works very well. I like it. I find that one actually the easiest one to use. I think that is we've got little bubbles starting to form in the bottom there already. I'll save a little bit of the water in the bottom because I'm going to do some rice later. But for the rice I need a very small amount of water, so that's good. I've got bubbles forming in there already. It's a good sign. Yeah. I have to admit, I'm very impressed with this little stove. It actually works a treat. Make sure my handles are not getting too hot. Yeah, that sounds good. I think I'll call that it for my wood pile for the moment. Yeah. I don't think I need much more than that. So, it's a great little stove. I can't knock it. It actually works very, very well. I'm only pouring in a little bit of water there for a cup of tea. The sun's come round. Now if I stand right with the sun on my back, I happen to know that exactly that way is north. So even if you haven't got a clock, right, I haven't got a clock with me today, if I put the sun right on my back, my shadow is pointing exactly that way, that's north. Sun's right on my back, I know it's about midday. Yeah, plus or minus an hour, it's midday. And that's really all you need to know. Yeah, some people are obsessed with knowing exactly what time this is, that is, and all the rest of it. You don't really need to know. Once the shadows are pointing that way, then I'll make up some rice and what have you for later. Oh, look at that, I've got good bubbles in there already. I don't know how long it's been on there, a few minutes. Yeah, that is boiling away good. That's one difference I have noticed with not having a campfire. There was definitely more bugs. When you have a campfire, what I do is I just get a little bit of green every now and again and just chuck it on it, make a bit of smoke, and that gets rid of all the bugs. That is actually a really good rolling boil now. Almost ready to make tea. Let's that is boiling like crazy. So I will save a little bit. I need about that much for rice later. Let's put that on there, let that brew. Now to keep the bugs out, because that's water in there, last thing I want is bugs in there. So what I do is I just take another pot like this, turn it upside down, stick it over that one, hey presto, no bugs. I don't know how long that was on there time wise for boiling, but as you can see, didn't take long at all. So I will let that brew let it do its thing. As you can see, the sun's come right round. The sun's up over there now. This morning was over that way when I got here. It's now over there. Like I say, looking at the shadows, it's pointed at it. One of the things I will do sometimes, if you can make an improvised clock, and it's actually very, very simple to do. If you have your compass with you, you can just put a stick in the ground, and obviously you can make a sundial. But if you put a stick just pointing dead north south, just lay it on the ground, doesn't matter, doesn't have to stick it in the ground, you're not looking at a shadow or anything like that, just lay it on the ground, so you know that if the shadow's still to the left hand side of the if the shadow's to the left hand side of your stick, then you know it's morning. If they're to the right hand side of your stick, you know it's afternoon. If they're pointing directly along the stick, it's midday. So it's a very simple improvised clock. You can do a sundial, but then you need to start placing rocks on the ground and all the rest of it. But if you just take a stick, just a normal everyday stick, now you find you one. Right, so if I was making an improvised clock, first thing in the morning, take my compass bearing, laid it on the ground, orientate that one because I know that is north over there. Right, I know that that's north because I've checked it with my compass. So just lay a stick on the ground like that. If you look at the shadows, like my shadow at the moment is straight up and down that stick pretty much, so it'll be midday. But if the shadows are off to this side, you know it's morning. If they're off to that side, it's afternoon. If you can't see the shadow, it's night time, it's dark. Yeah, end of story. It's easy. Yeah. Oh, a lot of people, they have to bring all their cell phones and all that other kind of good stuff so they know what time it is and where they are, and they do all this GPS tracking and all the rest of it. And some people like doing that, and that's fine. If that sort of floats their boat, absolutely. Everybody's different, everybody likes different things. To me, I come out in places like this basically to forget about time. I don't worry about the time. I just need to know whether it's morning, afternoon, evening, or time before I went to bed. Yeah. But it is very noticeably different, the amount of bugs, because I don't have a campfire. That is very noticeable. I've also noticed that the wind has started to get up. I keep getting these big gusts of wind come through. I did notice earlier on in the trees over that way, there was actually a red squirrel came through. A lot of the squirrels I see out here are like the black squirrels or the greys. That was actually a red squirrel. So I shall remember where I saw that. It was heading down that valley over there. So I will keep an eye out. It'd be a good place for me to come to bring my good camera and see if I can get some pictures. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear the wind. It's absolutely lovely, isn't it? Wind's coming through in little waves. It sounds like water flowing down a river, which is exactly what it is. Yeah. Oh boy, that tea is hot. That tea is too hot. That's gonna have to cool down. Yes, the only problem with having that tent, and I can tell you now, see the shiny, I know, like the grey material, the bugs like it. On the other side of the tent, where it's in the shade, there's nothing. But on this side of the tent, where it's shiny, they're obviously attracted to it because it's shiny, I guess. But yeah, who knows? Right. Well, while I'm letting that tea cool down, I will grab my bear spray. I will take a wander down through here. Well, I thought I heard some deer earlier, but I'm sure they know I'm here. They spot anything real fast that's different to what they're normally used to seeing. So. Yeah, who knows? Yes. Yeah, you can't hear anything down there now. Right. So that is my campsite for the next couple of days. Pile's good for when I'm allowed to actually have a campfire. I collected up as many rocks as I could actually find. It wasn't as many as I thought it'd be. I'm just going to sit down now and enjoy my tea. almost forgot to do my signature shot. Alright, cheers people. Time for tea. Yeah, tea in the forest, surrounded by flies. I had to put the lid on and keep the bugs out. But this is the way to enjoy a cup of tea. Doesn't get much better than that, does it? That is most definitely a good tea shot right there. Right. Almost forgot. Just been a little walk around, stretch my legs. It's the only thing we can do. I like to keep moving. I'm normally hiking all day through the mountains. Not very often I sit still. Anybody that knows me will know that I have a bit of trouble sitting still. I like to be exploring. Well, doing a little bit of exploring around. I wanted to see if I could find a bit of open area so I could see if there was any cloud net coming, because in the forest you can't really see much distance. I can hear some water off to my right. This is actually quite a nice trail down through here. Didn't know this was here. This is obviously a fairly well established deer trail through there. I need to head off through this way. I need to head back towards the sun. Yeah. As long as you know where the sun is, you don't often get stuck anywhere. You get a really cloudy day in a really dense forest. That can be a lot trickier to navigate through. And that's where having a compass comes in. Because if I said to you which way am I camped now, find your way back, most people go, huh? Don't know. But I know that I need to be heading towards the sun. I also found something interesting up through here, if I can get back to it. These trees here, as you can see, these are much bigger trees. And up through here somewhere, I found a cut line, an old one, somewhere here. Where was it? I always look for cut lines. Yeah, because the trees one side of the path are really noticeably a different size to the ones on the other side. So that's usually a good indication. It's very dry. I don't know if you can hear that under my feet. Very, very dry. Which of course is exactly the reason that we have the fire restrictions and that. I have my pack and everything set up in such a way that if I suddenly smell fire smoke, I can be up, grab my kit, done, finished, out of here. See, this is an old cut line, see? Yeah. So I need to go that way. And as always, doesn't matter where I'm camped, I always have to go up. Everything's always up. I've got to find some campsites that are actually down. That'd be good. But at least this is a slow up. Oh yeah, I see me through there. There we are. As long as you head towards the sun, you can't really get it wrong. Just don't leave it too late in the day. Otherwise you're going to be heading off towards the west. Right. I have to say that was an extremely nice cup of tea. Very nice. Let's put that down. Anytime I go for a walk I take bear spray with that with me. But you do need it. I've had very few encounters with bears over the years that have been what I call up close and personal. I've had a few that were very close, 30-40 feet. That is too close. I came around a corner one day and there was a bear sitting there eating dandelions. It was halfway up the mountains in Nakiska. And I'm like, oh okay. And I had nowhere to go. There was pretty much steep cliff and that behind me. So I could either back down the trail that I was on, but I was already halfway past the bear anyway. So I thought, oh well, I'll just keep going. So I kept going, kept facing the bear, looking at the ground, and just wandered by. Bear kind of gave me a second glance, and that was it. Carried on eating its dandelions, wasn't interested in me. Yeah, fortunately. That was a black bear. Now with a grizzly bear, that's a whole different ball game. Yeah, you don't want to be doing that with grizzly bears. No, they react kind of different. They're king of the forest and they know it. Yeah. So, yes. Generally speaking, they disappear way before you see them. They know you're there. Yeah. It's like the deer. I'm sure I heard some deer down through that way earlier. I went down there to have a look, see if there's any fresh tracks and that, but couldn't see any. Yeah. They can literally run through the forest like ghosts. So. They know I'm here. As soon as I start talking, they know I'm here. Yeah. Right. So I will let the sun get around a bit more. Once I'm that shadow off that tree over there, once that shadow is pointing straight towards the end of my bench there, I will know that that's probably mid-afternoon o'clock. So then be time to make something to eat. Yeah. Trouble is with me, I tend to forget when I get hungry. So yeah, I have sometimes gone days and think, did I eat today? Not sure. No, I better have something to eat. Yeah. I'm usually too busy exploring things and looking for stuff and doing things. Yeah. But if that is not a good spot for a campsite, I don't know what is. Not a great sound. This is why I come to places like this. There's the birds over there chit-chatting. Not sure what those birds are. Hear a lot of them out here. Once the sun starts to go down, we've got a bit of cloud coming through. There's some puffy clouds just coming through. The sun's just starting to come back out again. See if I can show you my north-south stick. There's my north-south stick. That's exactly north-south. If I now stand on that line, over on this side, I can just about see my shadow here. If I move, you might be able to see it. There it is. Yeah. So I would say that is about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, somewhere around about there. Looking at where the shadow, there we go, there's the sun. Right, so there's my north-south stick. There's my shadow over there. So if you look at the offset from there, I'm thinking that's probably about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Works very, very well. It's a very simple system. As long as you know where north-south is, you're good. This bird's amazing, eh? Love that sound. They've been doing that for about the last hour. Yeah. I will take that. There we go. There we go. I only had it on low and I thought, doesn't sound quite right. Should have boiled that water by now. Yeah. I turned it down just now. I think I turned it down too low. Yeah. There we go. Now I can see steam. That's more like it. Right off. I wonder why that hadn't boiled already. Now I know. Look at that. That has boiled that up real fast. So, get back on there. Now the only problem with this stuff, you need very little water to actually make these. The only problem is you want to keep stirring it. Oh, that smells good already. Now if you were cooking bacon and steaks and all that kind of stuff, you want to be cooking that way over there, nowhere near where you're sleeping. That's actually a little high. That's what I did just now. I turned it down and I turned it down too far. That's hot. It literally does not take long at all. Put out a bit of skirt. There we go, that's better. Cool. That is nearly ready to go. In actual fact, I will call that good to go. Look at that. And that's how quick it is to make up one of them. Right, I am going to sit and enjoy this. I'm going to put that down there. I'm going to sit and enjoy this and let all that cool down and get back to you in a bit. Over in the trees just up through there is a deer. You just got startled that I was here. See if I can make it move. Straight up through the trees up there. You can see it. It's standing there very still. There it goes. Big white-tailed deer. I knew there was. I heard a deer just now. Maybe it was that one. They let out this like a snorty kind of sound, just to let other deer know in the area that there's something not right. It was literally come up through over there, got to the top there, and then took off. Once it saw me. I think it saw me move, because I was sitting here like this, and it was over there through the trees over that way. Yeah, they make that funny snorting sound and then off they go. Yeah. Which means there's others here somewhere. I will see if I can see some. If I move, it might encourage them to move. Can't hear anything. If I see any more, I'll see if I can get some better pictures. Well, time's getting on. Sun's way over there now. It's way over in the west. In a couple of hours and it'll be down. But I like to go to sleep like about 8, 9ish, I guess. Sun doesn't go down till about 10. So if I had to guess, I'd say it was about 8, 8:30, something like that. Right, so I've got some water on my hot water bottle. Let's put that on there for a second. These things are incredibly good at retaining heat. I've tried all kinds of other things. You can use your normal water bottle and what have you, but nothing works quite the same as this. This would be a good test. I've only just turned that on, and I already have bubbles forming in the bottom of this pan. So this is one of those things that you have to be really careful with, because you do not want to be pouring boiling water on your hands out here. But it's very important to make sure that you pour it carefully. I would rather dump all this water on the ground than pour it on my hands. That would not make for a good day. No. I've just sorted out all my nighttime gear. Always make sure that you put different clothes on when you go to sleep. Especially socks and stuff. I've got extra socks and that in there. I always carry extra clothes in that with me. I've got extra layers, just in case it gets chilly tonight. I don't think it's going to, but just in case. So I will be ultra careful with this. I'll put that there. What I will do is leave this pot that's set up out here. We've got to put that down. I will leave this pot and that set up. If I wake up in the middle of the night, it's gone cold for some reason or whatever, I can just throw this on. That's the other advantage of the propane stove. I can just hit the button, done, boil it up. But I like to use a different pot for the hot bottle. The reason being is once you put water in one of those hot water bottles, it has that rubbery taste to it. So if I need to reheat it in the night, I can just literally pour the same water back in here, give it a quick reheat, chuck it back in, good to go. I find that hot water bowl is good for about 5-6 hours of good heat. Yeah. I've got good bubbles coming off that already. Steam's coming off it. I've got lots of bubbles starting to rise. Once they get decent sized bubbles, I will switch this off. I don't want boiling water in there. I want hot water. Yeah. So I'm not going to do this to a rolling boil. Well, I thought it wouldn't take long. Yeah. I'm very impressed with this little stove. So, like I say, it's one of those little Coleman Peak ones or whatever they call it. It works very well. My overnight heating system. I say some people use just their normal hot water bottles, the normal water bottles. I have tried that before with the Nalgene bottles and what have you. They just end up as a plastic triangle by morning. Pour boiling water back in them again, they just go back to the normal shape. But or you can use the tungsten ones. They work very well. But I find these things, especially the ones with the covers on, they retain the heat so well. This is a time of night you tend to see a lot of deer and stuff around. Right, that's bubbling like crazy in there now. Right, that's all done. Hot water bowl is in a sleeping bag now. It'll be nice and toasty warm by the time we get in there. I'll let that cool right down. I'm going to leave this stuff out here. I'll put the bear spray and that away. So that was a litre of water in there. That can's already cooling down. Put the lighter under there so I know where it is. There's a litre of water in there. And that boiled up pretty quick. It's only got a nice toasty warm hot water bowl now, which is exactly what I need. I don't like I say, I don't want to put boiling water in there. Just in case anything bad happens. Yeah. But it's certainly nice and hot. Well, it's very easy to just warm back up again. I can just come out, you know, if it's middle of the night. I got my headlamp with me. How well my headlamp will show up in this light, I'm really not sure. But at least I can just come out, warm it up, ready to go. Listen to that. Birds are starting to chirp. It's chirp o'clock. They chirp like crazy before it gets dark, and then it all goes quiet overnight. There's one kind of bird that tends to make a noise all night. I have no idea what that is. And in the morning, they all wake up again. And that's actually the nicest way to wake up, that is. Hear the birds waking you up. That is actually really good. So the mosquitoes are getting relentless this time of the night, so I'm not hanging around out here too long. we'll head back in there because I have that nice bug screen on there. This stuff actually works very, very well. It's just that fine mesh. I saw something move down through there. There's a lot of squirrels running around there. There was a couple of squirrels chasing each other around here just now. Whatever it was that moved down there was quite small. Right, I am going to leave that there. Put the bear spray away. And I'm going to get out of Mosquitoville. I still have plenty of water in my bucket. I'm going to get out of Mosquitoville. And I will do some more tomorrow morning, I suspect. Right. There it was. Done for the day. I'm not sure how well this will film. Because it is actually pretty dark. So you hear all the birds are waking up. It's not sunrise yet. Sunrise is over through that way, probably in about an hour. Yeah. Love the sound of the birds when they all get going. Right, so I'm going to set that up on there. Right. Yeah. Not sure how well that will come up. But, I prefer to use the red light this time of the day. This light does have various modes, if I can change them. It does have a bright mode, has an all-round mode. This one's not too bad. Just going to warm that back up, because I can't have a campfire at the moment. So I will do it this way. I only had to add one layer last night, so that was good. It's still pretty dark. The sun has got, the sky has got that faint kind of. These balaclavas are really good. They're a Thinsulate balaclava, absolutely fantastic. They keep you nice and warm. Only trouble is you can't speak through them very well. Old habits die hard, I guess. I can just about see the sky starting to lighten. That means we're about probably an hour before sunrise. So, like I say, not sure how well this will video, but I'll give it a go anyway. Yeah. I do like this headlamp because it has the battery pack on the back, and it has a pass-through feature. I can charge it. It's a little USB. And on the top of my pack, I have that pocket on the top of the pack, and I have a little coiled extension lead. So this battery pack on this one will last many hours. But if I plug it into one of my booster packs in the top of my pack, I can run it as a pass-through, and I can literally use it all night. Makes no difference, it'll run all night. Perfect. That water's getting nice and hot already. Yeah, because we can't have campfires at the moment, we can't have any wood fires. You obviously need that early morning, just got up, you need a bit of heat. So I will show you how I do it. I just use the hot water bottle. What I'll do is I'll take the hot water bottle and then I'll stick it inside one of my layers. If I had my jacket on, like if it was winter, just open your jacket, put that inside. Trust me, you get warm real fast. Get some blood flow going. Yes, I can just about see a slight glow on the horizon there, which means it's probably about 4 o'clock in the morning here. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it, I always wake up at 4 o'clock every morning. Whether that's a work day or a weekend, 4 o'clock is my wake up time. Had a fairly good night's sleep last night. He woke up a couple of times. My blanket had become all wrapped up wrong, so I straightened that out. That was good. Oh, it was very nearly at a boil now. Because I'm going to put this inside my jacket, on my sweatshirt, sorry, I don't want this a full rolling boil. It wants to be hot, but not boiling. So I would do this. This is something that needs to be done very carefully. When you're doing these hot water bottles, make sure you kind of lay them down, because you want to get as much of the air out of there as possible in the top. Like so. Turn them upside down. Make sure there's no water. And I can tell you now, oh, that is so good. If you take that now, just put it under one of your layers, like that. Sitting around a campfire is much nicer, but I can tell you now, the heat coming off that is absolutely amazing. Now if this is winter and you've got a coat on, you just put your coat over the top of that. It's like instant heat. Unfortunately, it's not as nice as having a campfire, I must admit. I would rather have a campfire. However, we can't have them at the moment, so yeah, I will take that as it. Hopefully you can see some of this in the video. It is still a little, it's dark o'clock yet. It hasn't warmed up. So I will do that like that. Now that's a good time. All the birds have quietened down a bit now. You always get that pre-dawn chorus bit. It's always nice to get up and listen to that. But the sun is coming up. That sun's going to hit through here pretty soon, and then suddenly it gets warm. That amazing feeling when the sun first hits you in the morning. It's really nice. Right, so I've got a few things sorted out here, ready to get some breakfast on. I think I'm going to have oatmeal this morning. Have a nice easy breakfast. Oh, look, there's a mosquito already. Go away. Yeah. Right. Hot water bottle is still warm, so I'm going to hang on to that. Yeah, this is how you stay warm without a campfire. People think if you come camping you have to have a campfire. It is very nice, I must admit. It's one of the niceties. I have my fire pile stashed up underneath there. I put some branches over it just to like scrim it up a bit. Unfortunately, people think the only way to stay warm is with a campfire, but with a hot water bottle and a little stove you can actually stay really warm. If it's really, really cold, I have been known, I do have 2 of these hot water bottles. You can cycle them, and but in winter obviously you just have a big fire going anyway. But the hot water bottles I still use even in winter. You fill them up and it's that immediate body heat. I've done it with rocks and stuff like that before, where you can do the heating the rocks up and putting them under your bed and all that kind of stuff. It does work, but the rocks don't retain the heat as much as a hot water bowl does. It sounds silly. Yeah, look at that sun through there. It's lovely, isn't it? Oh, take that. Literally right through the trees. Absolutely perfect. You can feel the damp in the forest. So that, yes, it's literally right through there. Couldn't get a better line up if I tried. Look at that. Very nice. Like the gap in the trees was made for it. Yeah. Right. So what I will do is I will stop waffling. I will get some breakfast sorted here, and then once you get some warm food inside you, you'll be surprised how quickly that makes a difference. You see the sun just coming in on the trees here. There's a couple of bits over there. There's some bits here. Nature's magic. These are the things I enjoy in life. I don't need all the high-tech super duper mega trooper stuff. You know, I don't need to be maintained and entertained all day long and all that kind of stuff. Look at that. First rays of sunshine hitting the tree. That is pure magic. The bird song, you know, an hour ago, when I woke up about an hour ago, all the birds were going absolutely nuts. You get that pre-dawn chorus. Absolutely fantastic. Love it. Can't odds it. Right, let me get some breakfast on, and then I can warm right up. And on today's menu, we have oatmeal surprise. I like oatmeal surprise because basically I don't look to see what's on the packet. I would like to do 2 packets. Now the surprise is, I have no idea what flavour I'm going to end up with. However, it does make for a very good breakfast. Very quick breakfast too. Turn that down a touch. There we go. Soak in that. Oh, that smells good. Now, I've managed to do this entire trip with all the cooking, like just the rice and the oatmeal and my water. I've done it all with 1 litre of water. This water bottle, 1 litre. Done it all with that. Now I do have another bottle of water with me, another Nalgene. I always make sure I have plenty of water. I do have a water source nearby where I could boil water. I do have my life straw and all that kind of good stuff with me. That is good and hot. Let's just see if that's... One more little heat. Done. Let that cool down. And that is breakfast. Nice oatmeal. Doesn't get much easier than that. Look at that through there. That is lovely. I will definitely take that. Right, I'm just going to switch this off while I have breakfast, and I'll get back to you. Right, so breakfast is done. Now it's the worst bit of the operation. De-kit. Pack it all up, and it all has to go into that pack, pretty much. You look at all this and you think, there's no way all that lot's going to fit on there and be easy enough to carry, but it is. I like these. I haven't tried one of these fold up ones, you know, they're like the zigzaggy ones. I haven't tried those, but they're supposed to be very good. But I also like these. These are so light, they fold up. They also make a really good little windbreak. If you have to stand it up and use it as a windbreak, it actually works very, very well. Now I need to pack all of that lot up and get it all sorted. Right, let's get on with that, I guess. Almost done. It's funny, it takes twice as long to pack everything up as it is to undo it. Getting the tent and that back in the roll and getting everything rolled up, that's not always as easy as it looks. I'm sure some little old lady in the factory where they make those can probably put one of those together in about 3 seconds. Takes me a little longer than that. Right, almost packed up, almost ready to pull out. Look at that, and the sun's only just turned yellow. Yeah, perfect. Right, there it was, all cleaned up. Everything's hidden away, covered up, so it doesn't just look like a big pile of mess. Anybody walking through here that knows anything would know that somebody had camped here, because you can see boiled marshes. However, as a general rule, I like to leave it as close to the original as possible. And always have one last look, because it's easier to take one last look now than walking 10 kilometers and having to come back out. Actually, from here it's only about 7 kilometers, I guess. So actually not too bad, but I'll still rather double check everything now. I have a habit of hanging things up trees, so I always check to make sure nothing's there, everything's put away, everything looks neat and tidy, certainly looks presentable, the ground's undisturbed. I didn't have a fire pit, so there's none of that to worry about, and I have rocks and that ready for a fire pit should I come back out here again. Right, I'm going to use that, I think, as my closeout shot. Time to head out.